Hello, Kinders. We're back for another night of stories, and tonight we have Rachel Parker Kindergarten Show Off by Anne Martin and illustrated by Nancy Poydar. Rachel Parker Kindergarten Show Off. I am Olivia. I'm 5 years old and I go to kindergarten. I'm very excited. I'm very good at kindergarten. Everyone says so. My teacher has long hair, also a long name. Her name is Mrs. Bjorgenhosen, but she lets us call her Mrs. B. I love my teacher. This is my family, me, Mommy, Daddy. I do not have any brothers or sisters, but I have a cat. Her name is Rosie. Rosie is my very best friend, except for Mrs. B, and except for Mommy, and except for Daddy. Hop, hop, hop. I am hopping around my room. I leap onto my bed. I jump on the bed for a while. Olivia, calls Mommy, are you jumping on your bed? Not anymore, I yell back. I look out the window. I see something interesting. A moving van is parked in front of the house next door. That house has been empty forever. I run out of my room. I clatter downstairs. What's that? Says Mommy. Who's that? Says Mommy. It's me, Olivia, I reply. Guess what? There's a moving van next door. Good, says Mommy. New neighbors. Maybe a girl just your age will move in. Maybe, I answer. I'm in school. I have big news. Mrs. B, oh, Mrs. B, I have something to share with the class, I say. Mrs. B smiles. Can you save it for sharing time, Olivia? I hope so. In sharing time, we sit on the rug in a circle. Who has something to share? Asks Mrs. B. I shoot up my hand in the air. Olivia, says Mrs. B. I stand up. We are getting new neighbors, I announce. I sit down. When? Asks Molly. I stood up again. Tomorrow, I tell her. I sit down. Any kids? Asks Lou. I stand up again. I don't know, I tell him before I sit down again. I say, any more questions? There are no more questions, so I sit down. I love sharing time. Jump, jump, jump. I am jumping on my bed, and also I am looking out my window. I see a car pull into the driveway next door. I leap off my bed. I run out of my room. I clatter downstairs. Who's that? Says Mommy. It's me, Olivia, I reply. Guess what? The new people are moving in. I'm going to watch. I stand in my driveway. I lean over the fence. I look next door. A mommy and a daddy and a granddaddy are walking to the house. The mommy is carrying a baby, and behind the granddaddy is a girl. I think she might be about 5 years old. The girl sees me. She runs to the fence. Hi, she says. I'm Rachel Elizabeth Parker. You have 2 first names, I reply. I only have one. Yes, but you can call me Rachel, says Rachel Elizabeth Parker. I'm 5 and I'm going to kindergarten. I will have a new teacher. Her name is Mrs. Bjorgenhosen. I think you're in my class, I say. Goody, said Rachel. What's your name? Olivia. Do you like kindergarten? I love kindergarten. I can already read and I can write stories, and no one else in my class can read or write yet. I can read and write, says Rachel. Uh-oh. In school the next day, Miss B says, boys and girls, we have a new student, and her name is Rachel Parker. Rachel's standing in front of my kindergarten room. Mrs. B's arm is around her. I will try to be nice to Rachel. So I raise my hand. I know Rachel, I say. She moved next door to me. She has 2 first names, Rachel Elizabeth. Rachel smiles at me, and I smile back. Mrs. B shows Rachel to a desk. Rachel's desk is next to mine. At story time, Rachel says, "Oh, Mrs. B, oh, Mrs. B, I know how to read." "Wonderful," said Mrs. B. "Would you like to read to your new class today?" Rachel sits in Mrs. B's big chair. She reads Hop on Pop. She does not say any words wrong. Rachel Parker is a good reader. Also, she is a show-off. "Oh, Mrs. B, oh, Mrs. B, I say, I could read Hop on Pop when I was 4. I could read much harder books now that I'm 5. "I can too," says Rachel. "Hop on Pop is easy for me." I think about sticking my tongue out at Rachel, but I decide not to. When school's over, Mrs. B says, "Rachel, I'm glad you're in our class." And Rachel says to me, "Olivia, can you come over and play?" "Maybe," I answer. Mommy says I should play with Rachel. She says Rachel's new here. It would be nice if you went to her house. Ding dong, I ring Rachel's doorbell. "Hi," says Rachel. "Hi," I say. "I'm here to play." Rachel's house is a mess. There's stuff everywhere. Nothing is put away yet. Rachel likes the mess. It's good for hide and seek, she says. I meet Lily. Lily is Rachel's baby sister. I tickle Lily's toes. "Hi, Lily. Hi, Lily," I say. Lily smiles at me. I meet Papa. Papa is Rachel's granddaddy. "I hope you like candy," he says. He gives me a root beer barrel and a peppermint. "I'll show you my room," Rachel says, and we run upstairs. "This is it. I share it with Lily." "I would not want a crib in my room," I say. "I like the crib." "The diaper pail smells." "I like the diaper pail." That cannot be true. "Let's play house," says Rachel. "You be the daddy." "No, let's put on a play." "No, let's put on a puppet show. I have a puppet theater." Rachel Parker has a puppet theater and a baby sister and a grandfather who gives out candy and 2 first names. I have to go home now, I said. "Goodbye." Mommy says I should invite Rachel Elizabeth Parker to my house. She says Rachel invited you, now you should invite Rachel over. So I did. I watch for Rachel out my window, and here she comes. Rachel and I jump on my bed for a while. "Olivia," calls Mommy, "are you jumping on your bed?" "Not anymore," I yell back. Rachel and I leaped onto the floor. "Do you share your room with anyone?" Rachel asked me. "No," I said proudly. "It's all mine." "Don't you have any brothers or sisters?" "I have a cat," I tell Rachel. Her name is Rosie. She knows what dinner means, and also what outside means, and what birdie means. When I say birdie, she runs to the window to look for one. "Oh," says Rachel, "Lily is very smart too. She knows some words. Plus, she can almost walk, and she is not even a year old yet." I frown. Rosie could walk when she was a month old. Now Rachel frowns. "Have you ever moved?" she asked. "I've moved 2 times. I have not moved, not once, so I say no, but I have an uncle who lives in Texas, and he sent me a pair of real cowgirl boots and a cowgirl hat." "Well, I'm writing a story about a cowgirl," said Rachel. "I'm writing a book," I say. "I wrote a book last year," said Rachel, "when I was 4. That cannot be true. Rachel Parker is an enormous show-off. "I think I hear your mother calling," I tell Rachel. "Me too," she answers. "I have to go home now. Goodbye." Everybody likes Rachel. My mommy and daddy like her. "What a nice friend she is," they say. Mrs. B likes Rachel. Molly and Lou and the other kids in school like Rachel. On the playground, I swing by myself. Back and forth, back and forth. I do not feel like playing with anybody. I look around and I watch the other kids. Uh-oh, here comes Rachel. "Can I swing with you?" she asks. I don't care. Rachel climbs into the swing next to mine. She pumps her legs. She can swing very high. So can I. I pump my legs too. "I'm higher than you," I call to Rachel. Rachel pumps harder. Now I'm higher than you, she cries. Show off, I shout. Show off, Rachel shouts back. I drag my feet to stop my swing. Rachel stops too. Show off, I say again. Just leave me alone, Rachel Parker. You know what? Rachel yells. You are very mean, Olivia. So what? So I do not want to be your friend. Good, I say. I do not want to be your friend either. I run away from Rachel. I feel like I might cry. I look out my window. I watch Rachel. She's playing with Lily. Peekaboo. Rachel, cries Rachel, and Lily laughs. I sit on my bed and I cross my arms and I'm still mad at Rachel. Also, I'm bored. I ran out of my room. I clatter downstairs. Who's that? Says Mommy. It's just me, Olivia, I reply. Mommy, can we get a baby, please? I want a brother or a sister, either one. Rachel has a sister and she always has a friend to play with. I bet she's never lonely. Are you lonely? Mommy asked. Who, me? I say. No, well, maybe a little. Why don't you play with Rachel? No. I do not tell Mommy about our fight. Instead, I go back to my room. I look for a book. I look for Little Bear, and I read it 2 times. Then I look for my paper. I make up a story about 2 girls who have a fight. I draw a picture of the fight. I yawn. I'm tired of reading and drawing by myself. I look out my window again, and I watch Rachel give Lily a ride in the stroller. At school, we have sharing time. Rachel and I sit far apart. We can see each other. I cross my eyes at Rachel, and she sticks her tongue out at me. Who has something to share? Asks Mrs. B. Rachel raises her hand. We are going to get a cat, she says. I raise my hand. We already have a cat, I say. That's enough, girls, said Mrs. B. I shrug my shoulders. After sharing, Mrs. B said, Class, today you will have 2 new teachers. Their names are Olivia and Rachel, and they are going to read to you. Mrs. B sits on the floor, and she waits for Rachel and me to choose a book. Then we fight over Mrs. B's big chair, and guess what? We can fit in it together. Rachel begins to read to our class. She reads the first page of the book. I read the second page. Uh-oh, here's a word I don't know. Mrs. B, I say. Mrs. B, my teacher repeats. Who is that? I don't know any Mrs. B. My new name is Alice, and I can't read yet. Oh, I skip over the word. Now the story does not make sense. Rachel whispers something to me. It's jacket, she says. The word is jacket. Thank you, I reply. On the next page, Rachel gets stuck on a word, so I whisper it to her. Thank you, she replies. We read the story to the end, and when we finish, I smile at Rachel. Maybe she's not such a show-off. Then I say, can you come over after school? At my house, Rachel and I make a train out of chairs. We pretend to take a trip to Italy. Then we tie a bonnet on Rosie, and we pretend she's our baby. After that, we pretend we're teachers again. I read Little Bear to Rachel, and she reads The Snowy Day to me. Rachel, calls Mommy. Your grandfather wants you to come home now. Okay, Rachel answers. Olivia, tomorrow you can come to my house, and the next day you can come here again, I say. Goodbye, Olivia. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye, Rachel Elizabeth Parker. I'm glad you are my friend. I'm glad they worked it out, didn't they? It's always good to have a friend. Pete the Cat, Construction Destruction by James Dean. Recess, Pete shouts as the bell rings. But when Pete gets outside to play, oh no, the playground is a disaster. The swings are broken, the slide is rusty, and the sandbox is full of weeds. Pete makes plans for a new playground. Wow, says Principal Nancy. Can you really build that?" "Not by myself," says Pete. "I'm gonna need some help." "Whatever you need, Pete, it's yours." The next day, Pete arrives at the playground before school. The construction crew is already there. He gives them the go-ahead to tear down the old playground. Creak, crash, down goes the slide. Clink, clank, down go the swings. Bang, boom, down goes the tower. Honk, honk, a truck arrives to recycle the metal. Rumble, rumble, honk, honk. The new playground equipment has arrived and it's time to get to work. The cement mixer will pour concrete. The dump truck will bring sand and dirt. The backhoe will dig, and the whole team will get the job done. Clunk, whack, thud. Building a playground is hard work. The new playground's cool, but it's not cool enough. "What do you think?" Pete asks, holding up his latest plans. "This will be too hard to build," says one of the workers. "And everything is almost finished," says another. "But it will make this the best playground ever," Pete says. "Then let's do it," the workers say. Screwdrivers twist and screw in screws. Wrenches tighten the nuts. The workers try to make everything perfect. Hooray, the new playground is ready. Everyone's amazed until... creak, creak, creak. Smash, crunch, thud. "Oh no," says Principal Nancy as the new playground crashes to the ground. "The pieces are all mixed up." "It's not how we planned it," Pete shouts. "It's even better." This playground's filled with surprises and places to explore. The school playground is the most amazing playground ever. Sometimes you just gotta dare to dream big. And our last story tonight is called Here Comes Summer. Summer's coming, almost here. Let's see what this book is about. Chapter 1, End of the Year. It was June and school was ending soon. Mrs. Robinson asked the children what they were going to do for their summer vacations. "I'm going to visit my grandparents for the summer," says Felicia. "I'm going to the beach," said Cliff. "I'm going to the lake," said Toby. "And I'm going to the moon," shouted Rustaluca. Everyone laughed except for Peter. Peter didn't want summer to come. Peter and Felicia were walking home from school. "I wish school wouldn't end," said Peter. "But you had lots of fun last summer," said Felicia. "That was before school started," said Peter. "Before I met you and Toby and Rich and Lou and Patty and Cliff and..." Suddenly, someone stuck out his foot from behind a tree. Peter fell. Felicia gasped. Rustaluca laughed. "And don't forget me," he said. Felicia helped Peter up. "I'm going to miss everybody this summer," said Peter, "except maybe Rustaluca." Chapter 3, Class Cleanup. The next day the class began its year-end cleanup. "We've got a lot of things to throw out or take home," said Mrs. Robinson. The children went through their desks and they found some interesting things. Toby found a picture of a pumpkin. "I drew this in October," she said. Rich held up a drawing of a turkey. "I did this in November," he said. "I got these in February," said Felicia, holding up a handful of Valentine's Day cards. Rustaluca held up a piece of bubble gum. "I chewed this back in April," he said. "Look Look what I found, said Peter. It was a story about Peter's vacation from last summer. There were drawings of Peter. Wow, said Miss Robinson. You did that last September, almost a whole year ago. There were drawings of Peter in the pool, in the park, and at the zoo. It looks like you had a lot of fun last summer, said Mrs. Robinson. I guess I did, said Peter. Chapter 4, The Last Day. The next day was the last day of school. Who hasn't told us their summer plans yet, said Mrs. Robinson. Rich, Patty, Peter, and Felicia all raised their hands. I'm going to camp to learn the violin, said Rich. I'm going to take swimming lessons, said Patty. And I'm doing exactly what I did last summer, said Peter. And I'm going to spend my vacation playing with Peter, said Felicia. He really knows how to make summer fun. But I thought you were going to spend your summer at your grandparents' house, said Peter. I was, said Felicia, until I talked them into visiting me instead. Chapter 5, School's Out. The bell was about to ring. The school year was about to end. Everyone was laughing and smiling, except for Russ DeLuca. Russ looked sad. What's wrong, Russell? Asked Mrs. Robinson. I'm going to miss everybody, said Russ. Mrs. Robinson gave Russ a pat on the back. Don't worry, everybody's going to miss you too, said Mrs. Robinson. Well, almost everybody, laughed Peter and Felicia. So, things are different this year, right? We are at home instead of in our classroom, but summer is still coming. You're still going to have a great summer. And that was the end of Here Comes Summer. And I will see you next time.